everyone, Rob, Sigma 3 Survival School. Welcome back to another edition of the Survival Trapper's Bible. And today I want to talk about the Tilong rat trap. And this is my favorite trap setup for getting rats and small game. And the reason I like this trigger system is I've had a lot of experience in trapping rats with Paiutes and different trigger systems like that. And while those are effective for those types of animals, one of the main problems with them is that rats and small game like that are very finicky, and they have a tendency to want to eat the bait off the trigger stick without actually triggering it. And what's great about this trap system is that they have to move past the trigger in order to even get to the bait source that will be behind it. And it works great on hollow logs, bamboo. In an urban setting, you can use PVC. Anything that you can find that's hollow, and you can whittle the trap trigger and make a slot and a hole in, you can use this trap trigger. So hang tight and we're going to show you how to throw this together. You can use a lot of different resources for this trap trigger, whether it be bamboo, a hollow log, you can use tin cans in an urban setting, or you can use PVC, which is what we've got set up here. And it's very simple. All you do is take the tip of your knife and you basically dig out a hole right here, and then you take your saw and make a slice right across there. That's where your snare is going to sit. This is where your trigger is going to sit. And then all you want to do is whatever device you're using, you want to weight it down with rocks or stake it down with sticks. The trap trigger is super simplistic. All you need is a small stick, and you want the stick to go all the way to the base of whatever hollow tube you use. You're going to carve a number 7 notch right here. That's basically just a straight cut with a 45. You can put a point on this, but it's not necessary. And then you want to have a place to lock your bank line or whatever type of cordage you use. Now for the snare, we need to make a loop so that we can tie our snare onto it. And you can use rope or wire. Wire is preferable. But the great thing about this trap is that the animal can't really chew out of it, even if it is a primitive cordage, because of the way it's set up. Alright, so now I've got my snare loop, and I want to go ahead and set the trigger. Make sure to always watch your eyes. And now that I've set the trigger, I'm going to measure my snare size so that we don't have an excess. And you can keep it one continual loop. You can actually make this longer and then just tie a snare off of that. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So now that I've got that locked in, I'm just going to tie my snare off. Alright, so now we've got to make our snare loop. Nothing fancy. You don't need to do a poacher snare for this setup. We mentioned that in previous videos. All you need is a loop. And take your other end, feed it back through, and then we're going to tie this to our loop here. Alright, so now that we've got our snare loop attached, we want to take and make sure that it forms around the tube. And that's very important. You want the animal's body to be able to go through the loop before they can get past the trigger. So one of the great things about this trap trigger is that the animal can't really move past the trigger system until they've hit the trigger. So they've got to hit this in order to get to the bait in the back. And you want the bait to be far back there to where they can't reach it without moving past this. And it's very important to size your tube according to the size of the animal that you're going after. So this would be perfect for squirrel-sized game. If we were going for smaller rats or field mice, we would want something different. A field mouse could, easily squeeze through here. So you also want to place a little bit of bait out in the front so that it's kind of an appetizer before the main entree. They're going to come through, hit the trigger, and then it's going to wrap around their body, and the spring pole essentially will suffocate them. It's going to draw up around their chest or their neck and constrict their breathing, and the way that the tube is built, it prevents them from chewing out, which is a major advantage over a lot of other types of setups. Alright, so that's the Tilong rat trap. It's my favorite rat and kind of squirrel trap when you've got a good bait source and you have tubes around. A lot of people say, you know, well, where am I going to find that stuff? It's more abundant than you would think, and it's definitely a regional resource. In an urban setting, it's pretty obvious where you can find it. PVC is all over the place in houses and different places like that. As far as in the woods, there's all kinds of rotten logs around, and you know, a lot of people ask, you know, bamboo isn't around. Well, it's in the south, and I've seen it all the way as far up north, you know, as maybe even like Indiana and up closer to the northeast. So it is around, and it's definitely a technique that you should learn. You can even, you know, throw these things up in your garage and they work well. I mean, I've caught rats with those things in a lot of different settings. So get out there, get some dirt time, try this stuff, and if you've got an interest in learning these, you know, in a quick setting where you can learn 30 traps in a weekend, obviously we run courses. Just go ahead and check out the website in the description link below. As always, we appreciate you sharing these videos. That's what helped build Sigma to what we are today, is getting that info out there and giving everybody free self-reliance skills. Whether you can come to a class or not, I want to make sure that everybody in America knows how to do this stuff so that when hard times come, they can put meat on the table for their family. Thanks and have a great day.